In a moment, you're going to do something simple. Look at 7 words, just 7. Then look away and try to write down as many as you can remember. Ready? Ordinary, river, lamp, trumpet, garden, whistle, anchor. Now look away. Don't scroll back up. Try to recall as many as you can right now in your head. Got them? Most people remember somewhere between 4 and 6, not 7. And that gap, the space between what you saw and what you kept, is where this video actually begins. You just experienced something psychologists have studied for over a century. And the reason you lost 1 or 2 words isn't a flaw. It's your memory working exactly as designed. Here's the strange part. If I asked you which words you forgot, you'd probably notice something. It's usually the ones in the middle of the list. Not the first word, not the last. The middle ones vanish first. Psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered this pattern back in the 1880s, testing himself over and over with lists of meaningless syllables. He found that memory doesn't fail randomly. It fails in a predictable curve, one that researchers now call the serial position effect. You remember the beginning because you had time to rehearse it before anything else came in. You remember the end because it's still fresh, still sitting in short-term storage. The middle gets crushed from both sides. Too late to rehearse, too early to still be fresh. Try the test again, but pay attention this time to what your brain is actually doing while you read. Anchor, river, whistle, garden, lamp, trumpet, ordinary. Notice that. Your eyes moved across the words in order, but your brain didn't store them in that order. It grouped them. Some brains link anchor and river because both suggest water. Some link lamp and trumpet because they're both objects you'd find in a room. Your memory isn't a recording device. It's a filing system that constantly looks for patterns, even in a list designed to have none. Psychologist George Miller found something else that shapes this exact moment. His research in 1956 proposed that short-term memory can typically hold about 7 items at once, give or take 2. That's not a coincidence. That's why the test used 7 words instead of 3 or 20. 7 sits right at the edge of what your short-term memory can juggle before something has to drop. Here's a second test. This one takes less than 5 seconds. Look at this number for 2 seconds, then look away. 8, 4, 9, 2, 7, 3, 1. Now say it out loud from memory. If you got it right, notice how you did it. Most people don't hold 7 random digits as 7 separate things. They chunk them. 84, 92, 731. 3 pieces instead of 7. Neuroscientist and cognitive researcher Alan Baddeley spent decades studying this chunking process, and his work reshaped how psychologists understand what's often called working memory. The small mental workspace where information sits just long enough for you to use it before it either gets stored or thrown away. Which raises the real question sitting underneath everything you just did. Why does your brain even bother chunking, rehearsing, prioritizing beginnings and endings? Why not just remember everything, perfectly, all the time? Because a brain that remembered everything would be useless. Think about what your senses take in every second. The texture of your clothing against your skin, the hum of a device somewhere in the room, the exact angle of light through a window. If your brain stored all of that with equal weight, you'd be buried under irrelevant detail before you finished reading this sentence. Forgetting isn't a bug in the system, it's the filter that makes thinking possible at all. This is why the middle of your word list disappeared first. Your brain made a fast, automatic judgment. The first word mattered because it was new information entering an empty space. The last word mattered because it just happened. The middle words competed with everything around them and lost. Try one more experiment, and this time notice your own reaction as it happens. Picture your childhood bedroom, not describe it. Just picture it, right now, for 3 seconds. Whatever appeared in your mind wasn't a photograph. It was a reconstruction, pieced together in the instant you asked for it. Researcher Elizabeth Loftus spent much of her career demonstrating exactly this, showing that memory isn't retrieved so much as rebuilt each time you access it, using fragments, assumptions, and whatever emotional tone happens to color the moment you're remembering it in. That means every time you replay a memory, you're not pulling up the original. You're generating a new version, slightly reshaped by who you are right now. Your 7-year-old bedroom, recalled today, is filtered through everything you've learned and felt since. It looked different in your mind 5 years ago. It'll look different again 5 years from now. So here's what actually happened during the small experiment you just ran on yourself. You didn't fail to remember 7 ordinary words. You watched, in real time, the exact mechanism your brain uses to survive an overwhelming world. It prioritized, it chunked, it let go of what seemed least useful. It rebuilt what you asked it to recall instead of replaying it untouched. Your memory was never built to be a perfect archive. It was built to be efficient enough to keep you alive, flexible enough to adapt, and selective enough to protect you from drowning in your own experience. Next time you forget where you put your keys, or blank on a word mid-sentence, or lose the middle of a list someone just read you, remember this test. You're not broken. You're not slipping. You just watched your own mind do, in 10 seconds, what it does silently every moment of your life. Decide, instantly and without asking permission, what deserves to stay.